So, viewers, on this episode, we are going to deviate slightly from what you're used to. We are calling it the Kiboko Bridge. We are going to go into the comments. We're going to read comments, both positive and negative. We're going to respond to those comments. We're also looking at the activities of the past week and do a deep dive, which is something we will be referring to in the future as the Kiboko Bridge. We go into a deep dive of the activities. We give you our honest opinion of what we believe the implications of the activities, politically and otherwise, of the last week. And in particular, we will be delving into this ruling by the court about the electioneering. So that is our Kiboko Bridge, and get used to this because we will be doing this periodically in the future. This will be a bridge we'll be doing, and then we go back to our old calendar. Stick here, guys.
We don't stop, we don't stop. Welcome to another, I don't even know if you'd call it episode or the continuation.
It's a continuation.
You know, last I left us, what, episode 28? This thing may go to episode 100. But welcome to Stori Za Siasa, Understanding Kenyan Politics. If you're joining us at this episode, welcome. This is a conversation we are having to understand the political landscape of Kenya, to understand how it is that we've gotten here where we are, to understand our history, to understand our past, and to understand our present, and therefore hopefully give you the tools to shape your future. This is an unbiased podcast. Some agree, some don't agree. Yeah. But this, for me, this has been extremely informative. Mr. Ndola.
Yes.
Ndola Ndolo.
Ndola Ndolo.
Ndola Ndolo. There's a guy who said Ndula.
Yeah, I know.
There's somebody who wrote a powerful email, and in the mix they were saying thank you so much. They were saying thank you so much for breaking down this conversation in the intellectual finesse way that you're doing. Not angry, not fighting.
Yes.
And and that is sparking conversations within their office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like we said when we started this show, what was driving us when we started the conversation with you, there was no set script or roadmap. We didn't say this is where we were going. I just felt that there's a lot I had experienced. And personally, we all have selfish reasons when we go into these things. Personally, after the 2024 uprising, if you can call it that, of the young generation that we refer to as the Gen Z, I asked myself, my twins, who you know, were active in that Gen Z groupings, formations. I think they were even helping coordinate some groups. And, you know, I'd be sitting with one of them on his phone. He would tell me if he doesn't read a message, if he doesn't read his messages in 4 minutes, he can't catch up. I asked him, what do you mean? So he showed me how they're popping in. I said, what are you telling me? So he told me this is what's happening. And at the tail end, or rather after the dust had settled and we ended up in a situation where the president addressed the nation and all that, there was anger. The anger we keep referring to that started from how we've run our politics, from the opposition days, from the oppression, the Kanu oppression that brought the politics of the opposition confrontational, when we talked about how the opposition had to be creative to address barriers because it's a captive audience. So that anger, which some of us thought would end with those generations, now had caught us again with our children. Guys who are not born when Moi was there, who Moi is a story, like a bedtime story. They don't even know, they can't relate. Guys who Jomo Kenyatta is a photo somewhere. They can't relate, never heard his voice. And here we are. So as parents, my generation, maybe there's somewhere we have failed. Because there should be a situation where our children don't catch up with that. So I asked myself, what are we doing or what are we not doing? And so I started saying, okay, everybody has to put their own lifting. In a situation like this, everybody has to do their bit. What can I do? knowing what I know, so that my kids go to the elections in 2027 informed. And I will not tell them, I will not even dare tell them where to vote. They have an opinion. They were involved in 2024. I cannot tell them vote here. Forget about what I see people saying, I'm campaigning for somebody. Even in my own house, I cannot campaign for William Ruto. In my own house. They will tell me, no, Papa, that's your opinion. So I said, what can I do? So I suppose for those of us who are spiritual, sometimes if you pray about something, it happens. And it doesn't, and I will not profess to have had a voice. Where, you know, people say he had a voice and the voice told him do. No. What happened is you pray about something and you wake up and an idea pops in your mind. And the way I think about spirituality, that's how it works. You know, they say in the older days, people had a direct connection, that God would talk to them. They would go and fast and they would hear a voice. I think when we go there a little bit, it's a bit of fiction. I think what it is you pray and then a thought pops up maybe 12 hours later, or you find that you're leaning towards a particular direction. And I think, from my very humble place, that is how the Creator is talking to you. You know, He is directing your acts and your thoughts without you quite realizing, because you sought His intervention. So I thought about it, and in my quiet space, I would pray. And of course, for me, Al-Kalau woke me up. I had been seeing a build-up of what I call reckless talk. And I've been wondering, and as like I said in a previous episode, His Excellency the President is younger than me. The former DP, Rigathi Gachagua, is younger than me. So I said, wait, I think I have a duty here. I have a duty here. People will call me names, I'll be insulted. It's okay. It's okay. That comes with the territory. And I also said, because I've dabbled in politics, I have a space I can occupy and people will listen. Because this guy is not a political scientist who's talking at a talk show based on what he did for PhD thesis. Yes. And I'm not rubbishing those guys who've done that. But this guy, his PhD is from the ground. He's done it, he's gotten money, clothes have been torn, he's been threatened, he's gotten it from the ground. So that's what pushed me. And that's why we are here.
You know, I like piggybacking on also telling people why I'm here, because I haven't done politics before. I keep saying I'd only done 2, and one of them I deleted because this space is murky.
Very.
And it's highly emotional. I'm a consumer of intelligence, so I read every single comment.
Yes.
Every single comment on TikTok.
Yes. On
Facebook,
yes.
On YouTube.
Wow.
So you can imagine how much understanding I have
yes.
of people's emotions when it comes to this as compared to when I interview musicians or when I interview people from business.
Yes.
Politics is highly emotional. Of all the content I've ever done, I've never seen such emotion.
It's very...
You don't see people on the fence with this conversation.
Yes.
You don't see... People are either attacking or people are either... with you and consuming.
Yes.
But let me also say, I'm okay, and I remember having this conversation with you a couple of days, and I want you maybe to chime in. This is also a space for people to vent.
Yes.
And I am okay.
And people actually have a lot to say. They really have a lot to vent about.
Yeah.
I told you the other day, somebody reaches out on Messenger and says, my name is George, I'm in Minnesota, and I'd like to talk to you. And there's people who have communicated with me, but mostly on chat, and they tell me off. They say, you are, you're old school, you Kanu guys have Kanu hangovers, you are campaigning for Ruto, you are together with him in Kanu, this is a new dispensation, you don't understand it, this, Gen Z are going to show you. I've got those kind of messages. And I say, I stand guided. And others I even say, look, do you want me to organize an opportunity for you to come on the show and express your feelings? And then they go quiet. 90% of the ones who I offer, and I do that because they go extreme. Somebody called me Takataka. They said, I am angling for money. I look broke. I look I'm bitter in my retirement.
Yeah.
And I said, I told them, no, they had watched one of the 3-minute, 2-minute clips.
Yes.
So I told the gentleman, you watch the whole thing and you'll realize we are not campaigning for any particular person. But George, and he impressed me. He's from Kisii town. He lives in Minnesota, has been there for maybe 20 years. So the guy, he sends me his number and I send him my number.
This is somebody for the record you don't know?
I don't know him.
For madam.
I don't even know what he looks like. I saw the photo now on his profile photo. In fact, as we go there, Aizo needs to do some photos for me, so that I change my profile photo, because my profile photo has the Andrew with short hair. So guys keep asking, are you the Andrew we are seeing on the show?
We've done photos, we'll give you.
So I need an updated version of me, my hybrid version.
Yes. With the silver fox.
With the silver fox. So do you know, George called me, and when I checked later, we had talked for 1 hour, 13 minutes.
Wow.
Perfect strangers. He came in and he expressed his opinion on what he thinks on many things, and he even told me where he thinks I have done very well. He pointed out where he thinks I need to correct, and I'm telling you, it was an insightful conversation from a perfect stranger. 1 hour, 13 minutes.
1 hour, 13 minutes.
And 3 days before that, there was a lady who had heard me talking about my escapades in Makueni and in Kilome. And she's from very near where we had a rally with the late Molu Motesia, that near Salama. So she sends me a message. She says, I hear you're from my part of the country. And I say, yeah, where are you from? And she mentions the village. And I know the village. And she sends me a number. She says, can we talk? And I say, fine. Excuse me. And I call her. We talked for 25 minutes.
Total stranger.
Total stranger. But sheer coincidence, her father was a very famous mechanic. He was very good with Land Rovers back then. And I knew him because he had done work for my late father with some Land Rovers my father had bought from government secondhand in 1970, when I was 6, 7 years old.
Wow.
This girl's father, even she didn't know. She just knew that the parents would talk about us, but she didn't know there was a connect. When she mentioned the father's name, I said, yeah, but I know that name. So you can imagine. And she did the same thing. She said, this is where you're strong. This is where you need to polish up. Now, I want to go back to George, because George really, he touched me, and I'm going to keep in touch. George told me, you cannot stop talking about particularly your experiences in the politics when you were active and your opinion in the politics now. Because he said, that conversation you've had about your days in Kanu, working with various leaders, actually tells Gen Z what politics is. That what the politician holds them on the microphone and says sometimes is very far from what he's actually intending to do. And then he said, and the toxic nature of politics, the association of politics with money. He said, Andrew, you have to keep there, because that's the thing some of us know, but our children don't know. And they take at face value somebody who says, let's hit the streets. He talked about Sabasaba. He said Sabasaba was in 1990. How will somebody bring about a Sabasaba riot when the issues that brought people to the streets in 1990 have all been largely achieved? So when you say Sabasaba in 2006, what are you saying? First and foremost, you're riding on something you might not even understand. Maybe the better thing to do is bring a different thing, which more relates to the fights today. And then he says...
Do I need to give you some...
No, I'll keep touching this. So he says something very interesting. And that touch, and I realized we need to do that. He said there were very many people who risked their lives in the 90s, who helped achieve some of the gains the country achieved in terms of the widening of the political space and arriving at the 2010 Constitution. And he asked me to research all those names. so that we start ticking them off on the show.
Okay.
Because there are many, even younger politicians who do not know, have never heard of Anyona. They don't know who that is. Koigi wa Wamwere. They don't know the roles Paul Muite played.
Yes.
They do not know Martha Karua was Raila's lawyer. They don't know those things, you know. And those days you did those things at the risk of being picked up and dumped into a cell and silenced. There was no internet to shut down. All that used to happen is the newspaper would be bought.
It's true.
Yes, the system of the day would buy the newspapers before they hit the street.
Yep.
Yeah. So you are rushing to get the Nation to see what happened yesterday. You get nothing.
For real?
Oh, yes.
They'd buy them out?
Oh, yes.
What a tactic.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's print. And you know the print is ready to go live, maybe to go out at 4 a.m. So you just buy them. You just buy them. You pay when they come off print.
That is crazy. Such a wonderful way of controlling the news.
And of course, it was borrowed from other countries. I mean, a lot of 90% of the oppressive tactics that were used were borrowed from other parts of the world. And so George goes and he says, one thing he did say, which I felt maybe he has there's some pain I sensed in his reason to relocate. There were things that happened to either him or family. There was some pain, some frustration. And he was dwelling quite a bit on this thing about the heroes of that era, the guys who defied government. And he said, when we say tear gas sniffers, it might sound insensitive, but he said it very politely.
I like it.
And I realized he has a point. And so even as we go into the show, it's important that the viewer understands. We have to introduce a little bit of humor because we don't want people to come out of this show with bitternesses. Because what we want is what's good for Kenya. And so even in those dark days, we will introduce some humor. We don't want you to lose sight of what we are saying in terms of the fact. But when I say tear gas sniffers, it's to bring humor to a very painful past.
True.
And it was painful. It was painful. A lot of people obviously relate with Raila from that pain, but there were many others. There were many others who lost livelihoods. People were left by their wives because she doesn't agree with the direction you've taken. And she's got young children to bring up. You know, people had relatives who disappeared, never got a body to bury. And some of them didn't have the ability to remain in the face media-wise. So Kenyans didn't get to know them.
You know, I've realized I've had a traumatic relationship with politics.
Yes.
Because I was young and relocated the country
Yes.
because of politics.
Yes.
I didn't say this before, but because of politics, my father was moved out of the country to go and do business. And it meant that even I, as a child,
Yes.
immediately after class 8, I was on a plane to London.
Yes.
And that was directly because of what politics had done and affected this, that, the other.
Yes.
So years later, I realized I don't have a happy-go-lucky relationship with politics.
Yes. Yes.
I associate politics with loss. So you get, and without knowing, and I'm a 80 born. 80, I mean, I was born in the 80s.
You can imagine.
So what more people even who are born in the 70s, in the 60s?
Yes.
So I was just saying this to understand that I've had to switch from the different kind of content to understand there's some people who are going to be abusive in the comments. And by margin,
Yes.
it's okay. You do your thing.
Yes.
I have, as my cousin said, elephant thick skin.
True.
But I will also check you. There's a level where you can't be abusive. I will delete it.
True.
You get. But if you are venting is allowed.
Yes.
Venting is allowed. You don't have to agree with us. You can be against us. It is fine.
Yes.
This is a safe space for you to do that.
In fact, I believe, and I say this now from a parental position, because that is how this started for me. As a parent, if I'm going to allow you, or rather, let me put it differently, if my coming on this show and giving an insight into my experience helps you offload anger and frustration, I think I'm already winning.
Complete.
Yeah. Don't go too abusive, but critique me completely. Call me a Ruto guy. It's
Yes.
okay, because then you're venting, and then I'd urge you, and this is very important, because I saw somebody on one of these forums saying that these guys are campaigning for Udwa. I'm not going to watch again. Then the next comment they told him, boss, that's why you need to watch. The fact that you're saying they're campaigning for Ruto is why you need to watch. Because then you'll be informed on how to vote. If you really believe that that's where they're going and you pick all the points, then that is why you will not vote for Ruto. Because this guy you've seen is twisting the narrative. So, and because of that, from a parental point of view, if I'm actually triggering your brain, if I'm triggering your mind to think,
And triggering emotions.
then I am helping.
Yep.
Because let's do that now, so that when we are voting, those emotions are out.
Yes.
We are voting from an unemotional space, and we're not going to respond to incitement.
I love it. And let me add and say, it's not one-sided. It's
Yes.
not just people complaining.
Yes.
There's people, in fact, this is like I like what you said about the conceding.
Yes.
When the dog bites the man, it's not news. When the man bites the dog, it's news.
Yes.
I don't want us to be honest, 20% of the comments
Yes.
are, I'd even say 10% of the comments
Yes.
are the guys who are like, you're for Ruto and all of that.
Yes.
Majority, the 90% of the comments are people who are correcting you,
Yes.
are people who are thankful for this kind of content, are people who are engaging. So it's important that we also highlight that side. And I want to, this first episode, as usual, even as we release,
Yes.
before we continue.
It's very important.
It's the Kiboko time
Yes.
episode. I want to read one, and then let's get into the Kiboko time where I read some comments.
Yes.
You chime into some of these things, just so that we kick off the episode.
And then we will, and now I've become the producer, and we will take a break so I can take some warm water to sort out whatever my throat is doing.
Don't worry.
But let's go to Kiboko time.
You're ni lazima.
Yes.
Somebody, this one emailed me.
Yes.
Dear Richard, and I won't read all of it, but I'll just get the essence of it.
Yes.
I trust you are well. I wanted to take a moment to sincerely thank you for the Stories Za Siasa segment with Ndola Ndolo. I don't think you realize just how enlightening these conversations have been. Please extend my appreciation to Ndola as well. His insights have actually sparked week-long conversations in our office. Yes. I work in the NGO sector where we generally do not engage directly with government or politics. Yet we have found ourselves discussing Kenya's political histories, the personalities, the decisions, how they have shaped the country we have today. It turns out that what we needed was an eloquent Kenyan with a deep understanding of our history and no apparent personal campaign to sell, to simply tell the story. Ndola does that exceptionally well. Thank you, Richard, for creating this space for these important conversations. It is extremely... informative, refreshing, and genuinely valuable. May God bless you, Richie. And that is from Dr. L. Ngungu. Like, what do you have to chime in on that?
That is very humbling. And it's important that this person has talked about political aspirations, that I also clear the air. As a politician, we always think about vying. And in 2022, I was under pressure from friends and people I've interacted with. Oh, why aren't you in the ballot? Even now, there was that pressure.
Yes.
And I must confess, we always consider it. However, from the time the incitement went where it went, I realized I cannot do as much of a change in Kilome vying. I realized. And when we started this show, then I was very clear. After the first and second episode, I was extremely clear on where my good can come. My contribution to the country I love and the contribution to guiding my children, I realize is in this space. And this is where I belong. This is where I will play out. If over the horizon, anybody wants capacity as a political player, I have no problem sitting to give them guidance from my experience, not from any academic background, to say, in my opinion, this is where you need to focus. I have no problem with that. But we will not make the mistake of, on this show, going in a particular direction and campaigning for somebody, because we've realized people are watching and listening and taking us seriously. And because we must respect, and because of the love for Kenya, we must keep the conversation on this show neutral. We'll call it, when it's good, when it's bad, in our humble opinion. And then we will attach that to my history and see if that helps guide you on the decisions to make tomorrow.
I need to chime in there. I was not going to tell you this. I was not going to bring this up. I mean, I did tell you this, but I was not going to bring this up on air, but I will. Yes. Because I believe in the transparency of things.
Yes.
One of the things that is very unexpected is how many DMs, how many messages that we are getting from aspiring MCAs, MPs, governors, people in different positions.
Yes.
Let me read, for example. I am aspiring to be an MCA. This is from @Sol Mwakireti. I am aspiring to be an MCA in Weruga Ward, and this show has changed how I approach politics. Eye-opener, my political class. Thank you for the lessons. Now, in the DM sections, we have so many DMs from aspirants from across, and very strangely, first-time aspirants and second-time aspirants from across the country who want to do sit-downs with you. People who just want advice, guidance, somebody to walk them, somebody to chime in on their different on their journey, and give them advice on, are they doing this right? What should they look out for? How should they fundraise? That for me is as much as you want to just sit here. I have seen a need for you to be in a space and people to come, especially this target audience of people, to hear from you about leading. How do I take, and it's made me begin to question, is there, if you're willing, and this may be me putting you on the spot and asking you, would you be willing to do an offline conversation with this target audience?
Well, I'll tell you what. Remember, we talked about how we arrive at candidates. We talked about where we believe political parties should go in terms of even arriving at the right candidate. If this one-on-one, if these sessions with aspirants, potential MCAs, member of parliament and what, is going to help in the product getting cleaner, I am definitely there. It is something I would love to do. It will be something I would definitely be interested in doing.
Okay. What I'll say is, if you're an aspirant and this is something that would interest you, again, intelligence is what we use to guide our steps. This is not our plan, but comment. Comment and let us know. And depending on the amount of people who write, depending on where they write from, we will then figure out the next step. So do two things. Let us know where you're vying from, where are you based, and so we figure out, do we have to do online and all of those things, and if it's something you want to do.
And as we wind up that session, because it's critical, because I am first and foremost a political player. If that is the road we are going down, we will not be pointing you in any particular direction. If you're an aspirant, we won't tell you join this party, support this person. We'll just give you the meat. We'll tell you, this is what we feel. This is where you focus on. This is one of the strategies that we've applied and seen it work back then. This is what we think you can do. This is the kind of resources you need to put together. These are the kind of strategies you need. Whether it's on IT platforms, social media, these are the things we think you should do.
I didn't even think of like that.
That is how I would like to play, where we're telling somebody, we can help you set up your social media platforms. For a fee, we'll set this up for you. Bring us your resource guys, start it up, set you up. We leave you and your guys to go. We're available for a on and off consult on that front. And it will be across the board. Whether you are in DCP or you are in Wipeout, we will give resource, because what will that do? We will help build the quality. And by building the quality, we will help build the information So we will have aspirants who are well informed to make the right decisions. They will therefore be disseminating the right language on the ground. It's also like cleaning up the airwaves.
Yes.
We're just cleaning up in our own small way.
I like it.
And we will then, of course, ask you to sign something where if you are caught in incitement, you are caught in language that we do not stand for, we will disown you and we will expose you.
I love it. Okay.
There'll be a disclaimer where you must sign. It's like an NDA that I bind myself not to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I do, then because we can be witnesses against you. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. That's a place I'd love to go.
I've seen this rabbit hole. This is as an offline thing being created online while you guys are watching.
Yeah, I tell
but
you.
it's just the core thing is to say, if you are aspiring for any political seat and you would like a space and a forum to not just engage with Mr. Ndola,
Yes.
and not just engage with other professionals within that space, but even people, like-minded people like you, fellow people. Get to the comment section. Number 2, last time we asked people to comment and tell us where they're watching us from.
Yes.
I think that feedback for me has been mind-blowing.
Yes.
So we have a lot of people in the diaspora who are watching this. Australia, Sydney, we've got London, we've got Poland, we've got Canada, we've got the States, we've got Kenya, we've got Embu, we've got Kitale, we've got Lamu, we've got Nyeri, we've got Kericho, we've got Uganda, we've got Embu. Like we've got so many different places. Over 200 different locations were shared. I can't name them all, but I just want to say, keep letting us know where it is that you're watching us from. It's important. Another thing that I want to say, let us know which platform you're watching us on.
It's important.
This is crazy. When I was doing this, my mentality was thinking YouTube.
Yes.
But a lot of the people who are commenting on TikTok.
Yes.
A lot of the people who are commenting on Facebook.
Yes. Wow.
So continue to let us know which platform it is that you're watching us from. Just another heads up, we put out the full length videos. I know on this episode right now, we're on episode 29, but if you look on the channel, you will see episode 1 full video, episode 2 full video, episode 3 full video. Every time he wears a new set of clothes, we put it all into one.
Yep, that's true.
Into one. By the way, I like that. I like what you're dressed in today.
Thank you.
Okay. I just want to read 2 more comments and then we get into it. You guys, we are Kenyans, not Moroccans. This is a clever Kasongo thing. Though there's a lot to learn. Remember, Kenyans can make or ...
Yes.
It's up to you to choose your struggle.
Yes.
Your feedback?
Well, I expected people to go here. And the reason I expected them to go here is because we are not spewing the anger and frustration and the one-term narrative, because that's where we began with this show. When you stand on a podium and you say one term, in my humble opinion, you've said nothing. You've said nothing. And we even broke it down. We said, if you're talking about the cost of living, it didn't begin with this presidency. If you talk about extrajudicial killings, it didn't begin with this presidency. If you're talking about corruption, we've given you the architecture from 64. If corruption, if that's where you want to go. Why am I saying this? We fall into that trap. We even in the previous episode talked about the focus on the top. And it has been done by the political class. And I am a player in that space, so I know what I'm saying.
Yes.
We have explained what aspirants do. We've talked about weak aspirants who tilt the scale to get jobs. We've talked about all that. So when you say we are campaigning for William Samoei Ruto, you need to pinpoint where or what we said that specifically is campaigning.
I like that.
Don't just don't just give it a blanket, because that's what our problem. Everything is a blanket.
I like that.
Yeah, so come into the comments and say on this part, Andrew said 1, 2, 3. This is campaigning, and then we'll respond to that specific part. You see, if I sound Kanu friendly, I was in Kanu. I won't sit here and lie. I'm doing this for my kids.
Yeah.
When I talk about the guys who are in tear gas and the anointing crowd, I was in the anointing crowd.
That is true.
I'm not going to lie. So, and it's because for this platform where I want to be authentic, the truth, the foundation has to be truth. We've talked about when there were those who felt we could go for the top seat. and they wanted to present a certificate on the table. And I told them, we can't begin the journey that way. And I've been told by people, can you keep there? Because we have leaders who've been challenged about their academic credentials, and it's become gray. It's like it was never concluded, but there are people sitting in office there's doubts about their academic credentials. So we are going into all this. So I hear that, gentlemen, but let them go to a specific agenda. Let them say, here you said this. All we are doing is we're telling you, on this crime, it was done before. On this crime, it was done before. On this crime, it was... So don't just hate. And at the risk of going where maybe a lot of people are worried, don't go tribal. I hear people say, those Kalenjins, those Kikuyus, don't judge the man you want to be president on that alone. Don't say you hate Rigathi because he's Kikuyu, therefore you won't vote with president. That's not enough. Don't say you hate Ruto because he's Kalenjin. You've just fallen into the trap that is divide and rule that suits a certain cluster of Kenyans. It suited the British. And we even went back and talked about how the British bought land from somebody who had been allocated the land, and it was Kenya Railway land, and went on to build the British High Commission on that building. We talked about the ethics around that. So, I know somebody will say you guys are campaigning. Let us go to specific. Say on this point that you said in episode 27, you are campaigning for this guy.
I like there's a guy who said, how dare you guys call this guy a hard worker?
Yes.
He's a hard worker for corruption.
Yes.
I liked at least he was able to push it into that direction.
Yes.
Let me move on a quick one.
Yes.
As a love, this one I think you like.
Yes.
Today, by the way, I'm sticking to some positive comments. We need to start on a good note. As a lover of history and government, I have been camping here since the first episode. Amazing series and great analysis by Mr. Ndolo. I am 21.
What?
From Nairobi.
That's my child right there.
That guy is us at Tura's Money and Mindset.
That's my last born's age.
That's your last born?
Yeah,
yes.
That's Nene's age.
I love that.
My daughter Elizabeth, they call her Nene.
Yes.
That's Nene's age. That's my last born.
21-year-old.
Yes, because she's 21.
So how amazing. That's why I read that.
And I'm so humbled that they're commenting.
Yeah. So by the way, if you are in the Gen Z era, please enter the comment section. We'd like to know that you're watching. Okay, I'm going to do this last one and then we're going to continue. Remember, guys, what we've been doing in this series is breaking down, talking about the political history of Kenya from 1964, even before, all the way until where we are today. Where we left off, we were at 2017. This comment for me by Atlibi Kigenda 1517 is one of the most weightiest comments I have read. This for me is the epitome of the beauty of what it is that we are doing here. So listen to this. I have followed each full-length option, watching from Limuru. And the thing this conversation has stirred things in me is, when I am in my 60s, will I be able to sit on a chair and narrate the happenings of Kenya, account for the impact I have had, pour wisdom for the next generation? Will I have lived a good and fulfilled life, in brackets, with no blemish, read corruption, so that I can be put on the scales and have the courage to speak? This is the greatest lesson I have carried throughout each episode. Mr. Andrew's family must be proud.
Very humbled. Very, very humbled by a comment. I would have loved if the general would be alive and I sit with him and tell him, yeah, you are wrong. Yeah, you're wrong. But, but I'm very humbled by that comment.
No, I need to say what she's saying.
Yes.
Especially from this podcast space. I've not been able to put people on this seat.
Yes.
The reason why you had me say I've only put 2 politicians and even one I removed, because I've not found few, not even few, one, and I can only speak for Martha Karua, has been found who can sit on this seat and be honest, talk about her mistakes, talk about her successes, talk about her journey unashamedly. I mean, even Martha Karua, I asked about 2007. I asked there, I went there, and she was able to talk about it. politicians have asked to come onto this seat, but they say, do not ask me this, 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 do not ask me this.
Yes.
I'm like, what are you bringing me here for?
Exactly.
You get?
And it's unfortunate because, and this is why I will keep doing this show for as long as I have breath and there's product and there's material to give. How do we intend to sit, my generation, if God gives us space and health, how do we intend when we are 75 and 77 to sit and look back and imagine we contributed positively or we were spectators to chaos? You saw people lighting a fire, blowing the flames, and you were quiet and you knew they were doing it. Because that's what I'm seeing some leaders doing now. They're putting firewood and they're blowing it. They're fanning the flames. And so I want to go on record as one of those who called it out. Yes, I want my grandson who's 4, God forbid things erupt next year, when he's in 10 years, he's looking online and what he says, Babu called it. Babu criticized these guys. Because we cannot love Kenya. And I repeat, if you want to be a leader in Kenya, and because we are focused on the top, so let's go there. You cannot be an aspirant for the presidency and you see somebody in your camp fanning the flames and you are watching. And the flames are not being fanned on one side. Let's be very clear. These flames are being fanned on both sides. Yeah, on both sides. Why do I say this? I heard some politicians from the Rift saying on TV, and it was caught, that even if the votes are not enough, we will know what to do. So how does a responsible leader say that? You are taking votes away. That, to me, is very unfortunate.
Wow.
Because your leader has to gain ground. Politics is like seduction. You have to gain ground. So when you say that, and there's a region where William Ruto was gaining ground, you've just minused it. Yeah. Because as you remember, and this is scientific, there's always an undecided voter. In every election, there's an undecided voter. That undecided voter then is convinced and they come on board of one camp as we get nearer and nearer to the elections. When you do not inspire them, they sit back. That's why the 8 million voters who didn't vote in the last election, when the margin, 8 million, and the margin was 230, 240,000 between the winner and number 2. So what does it tell you? Maybe we didn't get the right president. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? There's no science to define that. If 8 million people didn't vote, we need all those voters at the ballot. We need all of them. And anybody who's in any camp, if you're in the president's camp, you must recognize that your utterances go either for, with the 8 million, or against. There are guys who are in the president's formation who are losing him votes every time they open their mouths.
But we now know why, because their agenda.
Now you've seen the agenda.
You've really taught us. Yeah. And let me say, you've been really eye-opening. Yes. And I know this Kiboko time we've vented, we've spoken, we've released. Yes. But part of Kiboko time is me asking about the relevant things that happened this week. Yes. So thank you so much for that comment that was shared. That was such a powerful revelation. Yes. And for me, it's to you to say thank you for coming here. I'm in shock. This is Saturday morning, 8. We were here by 7 in the morning. 8. There are better things you could be doing, including being on the golf course. but
this is powerful.
But you are here to give of your, I say potholes filled up by those who came before me. Yes. So you are filling up the potholes so that those who come after you have a smooth drive.
It's important.
So, relevant things that have happened this week. I have to touch on this because and get your feedback. Yes. Number 1, High Court rules presidential elections must be held in the 5th year, meaning next poll date is due on August 11th, 2026. Is that Monday? We're supposed to be going to the polls on Monday.